There is a silence particular to fog, a thick, suffocating quiet that swallows sound and sight alike. In Victorian London, this fog was more than weather. It was an accomplice. It curled into alleyways and whispered down cobbled streets, hiding secrets and perfecting murder. Welcome to a world where the modern detective was born in the shadows of the noose. This is the story of the crimes the fog tried to hide and the men who fought to bring them to light. To understand the Victorian criminal, you must first understand his greatest ally, the pea super. This was no mere mist, it was a filthy, yellow smog, a toxic brew of factory smoke, river damp and coal fire soot. It could reduce a bustling city of millions to a ghost town of isolated, stumbling figures. This was a time before fingerprints, before forensics, before the electric light. For a killer, the fog offered the perfect cloak. A man could commit a brutal act in the open street and vanish in 3 paces. His footsteps deadened, his form erased. It was an age of anonymity, and in that anonymity, violence festered. But a new enemy was emerging for those fog-drenched criminals. Not a superhero, not a genius aristocrat, but a system. The Metropolitan Police, still in its infancy, was slowly trading intuition for procedure. And at the heart of it all was the victim we so often forget, the city itself. Victorian London was a city of breathtaking contradiction. It was the heart of a globe-spanning empire, a beacon of progress and industry. But just beneath the surface of respectability lay another city. A city cramped, airless courts where families of tens lived in a single room. A city overflowing graveyards and crumbling tenements. This was the breeding ground of desperation. And from this despair emerged a new kind of celebrity, the detective. Men like Inspector Charles Frederick Field, the real-life inspiration for Dickens's Inspector Bucket. They were pioneers, walking the same foggy streets, learning to read the city like a text. They relied on informants, on door-to-door inquiries, on recognizing the subtle twitch of a guilty conscience. Their greatest tool was often the press. Newspapers, like the Illustrated Police News, devoured these stories, serving up sensationalized etchings of crime to a horrified and fascinated public. For the first time, crime was not just a local affair, it was mass entertainment. The public demanded answers, and the detectives of Scotland Yard were under pressure to provide them. But the fog still held its secret. Some cases were so shocking, so seemingly inexplicable, that they transcended newsprint and became legend. Perhaps no case encapsulated this era more than the tragedy of little Timothy Waters. In the winter of 1878, 8-year-old Timothy was sent on a simple errand as the fog began to roll in. He was to deliver a parcel to a shop just 3 streets away. He never arrived. For 2 days, the city held its breath. The papers cried, a child lost in the fog. Every dark corner and narrow alley was searched. And then, the grim discovery. Timothy's small body was found hidden in the coal cellar of a seemingly respectable watchmaker, a man named Mr. Edgar Higgins. The public's rage was white hot. A monster, a friend. The fog had hidden a predator in their very midst. The evidence was circumstantial but damning. A button from the boy's coat found in Higgins' workshop. A witness who saw a man of his description near the alley. But Inspector Albert Rainsford, a methodical man of the new school, was troubled. The button was too conveniently found. The witness's story changed with each telling. The fog, he realised, had not just hidden the crime, it had clouded the facts. Rainsford pursued a different lead, a rival watchmaker deeply in debt to Higgins, who had spread the initial rumour. He recanvassed the area, and a laundress finally came forward. She had seen Timothy, disoriented in the fog, stumble and fall into the path of a delivery wagon that never stopped. Frightened of being blamed, the driver had panicked and hidden the body in the nearest cellar. There was no monster, only a tragic accident, and a man nearly hanged for it. The real crime was a rush to judgment, a verdict nearly delivered by the mob itself. The case of Timothy Waters faded from the headline, but its echo remains. It was a turning point, a lesson that the true secret hidden in the London fog was not just the capacity for evil, but the human propensity for fear, for assumption, for seeing monsters where there were only men. The fog has long since left from the Thames, but the work those first detectives began continues. It is a perpetual fight against the darkness, not with a lantern, but with a magnifying glass, a relentless pursuit of truth, one clue at a time, no matter how deeply it's buried. The victims are gone, the criminals are dust, but their stories are not forgotten. They are the echoes we still listen for. If you dare to walk those foggy streets, tell us in the comments and subscribe to the Echoes of the Past for more journeys into the shadows of history.